Hello there, and welcome to a very special episode of Debunked, the series where I go online and find things people say that are incorrect online and I debunk them. So, this one is one that kind of got lost in the sauce between me getting sick in the holidays and everything else. It just kind of got sucked up in the chaos. I should have debunked it earlier, frankly. But it was a claim that David Yer deactivated all of his social media accounts because he was getting death threats from Snyder fans. And that's not at all what happened. So the initial report comes from Gunverse, which is already kind of a dubious source to try and claim is going to be unbiased about anything. He's also just kind of a mouthpiece for DC stuff. Also, how we're trying to make it Gunverse now? Like, was it because the Snyderverse thing? People are like, well, now it's the Gunverse. Are we doing this like Burtonverse, Nolanverse? Is that just the way we do things now? Because I was told that calling something a Snyderverse was narcissism, and reeked of ego. So I'm just surprised. I'm confused. Anyway, but he made this claim, and he's full of shit. So, but I wouldn't expect anything less. I don't think he's a gun fanboy who's like, I'm gonna push a narrative. Tee hee. I think it's a similar situation to whenever I debunked the Facebook dude who was using AI, and it was like, oh look, let's decapitate James Gunn. I'm so mad, but like he's the one who made the decapitated AI art. Like he tagged it with his own name, but then he was acting like he was offended by it. I think it's another one of those accounts. It's just literally like a social media parasite that thinks if I talk about this specific thing, I can I can troll for interactions, which can sometimes be monetized. But here's what actually happened. The original claim here: David Ayer taking a break from social media after receiving death threats from Snyderverse fans for supporting James Gunn's Superman trailer. So in reality, what happened was no one remembered Creature Commandos was coming out because it's like, who gives a shit? And that was a training day for the release of the Ayer Cut movement. And so he was just like, hey guys, don't do another trending event on like a DCU thing. Because I didn't do that intentionally. I just didn't remember it was happening. But yeah, and so he was just like, let's not do that. And some people are like, dude, you're gonna have to fight a little bit harder if you actually want your cut coming out. Because you've been nice for like 9 years, and Warner Brothers has just dicked you over, gun included. You're gonna have to like put some steam into it and make them a little uncomfortable. And so this was his full response, Valerie. David Ayer's full response was, my lord, if supporting another filmmaker is so contingent, I'm just lost at this point. When I was a kid, I had a nightmare childhood. My best friends were comic books. They held me, gave me company when no one else did. Batman spoke to my injured soul. Superman's optimism was an example of how to see the world without darkness. I cannot fucking wait to see James's trailer. Real talk. And I cannot wait to see his film. And absolutely am sure he crushed it, because that simple optimism of Superman is all over it. And the little kid in me needs that right now. I'm a bad guy for that, so be it. I do troll what I can control and can't what I can't. I think you would say I control what I can control and I can't what I can. Not I do troll, but it's okay. Gonna step back from this for a minute. And basically, he's just like he's a softie. He's a nice dude. He's a sweetheart. He's a cutie pie, and he's just an emotional dude. And he's just like, the holidays are fucking rough. And like, as another veteran, I know what it's like to, like, you get tons of mail and stuff. It's like, make sure you don't kill yourself. And I'm like, Jesus, like, I wasn't thinking about it until you sent me the fucking mail. For real, when they send you mail, it on the fucking envelope, it's like, don't kill yourself. I'm not making that shit up. Ask a veteran about it. That shit is wild and fucking weird. But he's just a really fucking sensitive guy. He's a writer. He's an artist. And he was just like, I've had these guys championing for me, but now they're sort of like, you need to be more on the offense. And he's like, and I'm not really wanting to do that. I don't know if I can. And he's just like, it just fucking made him feel kind of strange. So he's like, you know what? It's the holidays. Everything else is going on. I'm just going to take a break. I'm just going to step back because it's painful, being shit on by Warner Brothers, but also trying to defend Warner Brothers because you think it's the right thing to do. That's a shitty situation to be in. He never mentions getting death threats. He's just like, well, gee golly, you guys sure didn't agree with me. I guess I'm just going to take a break. And even the article by Variety, by Andres Buenojura, I assume that's how you pronounce the name. Great fucking name. Awesome name. The entire article, there's no mention of death threats. It's literally just some fans disagreed that he should be a little bit more on the offense, and he was like, nah, that's not my vibe. And he's just going to take a break. There shouldn't even be a fucking headline, honestly. Like, they did more to cover this than the fucking Ayer Cut tweets that were out trending Creature Commandos. But, that's just variety in a nutshell right there. Um, so no, debunked. There were never any death threats. It was just a handful, a small section of people who liked the original plan for the DCEU, who were like, dude, you need to fight harder. And he's like, I don't know if I'm willing to do that. And he was like, well, since this is a point of contention, it's the holidays and it's rough and I'm going through stuff, I'm just gonna take a break. Fucking peace all around, bro. The idea that death threats were involved was a narrative invented by people who want to perpetuate the idea that Zack Snyder fans are as bad as the people. We need a term for them because they're not really Gunn fans and they're not really Hamada fans. They're not really any of this. They're not Emmerich fans. They're not Jeff John fans. They're not Whedon fans. They're just shitty fucking people who they hang out around DC as a brand and they just act shitty. But those people, I've been doing death threats since Henry Cavill was cast, since Zack Snyder was the director, since Ben Affleck was cast. They've been saying and doing horrible shit for a decade. So, no, we are not like them. There was never any death threats. Debunked. I'll have a link to the original Variety article below for you to see. So, yeah, just consider your sources. Do a little bit of research. Read a little. Debunked. Support the Ayer Cut. I have a whole fucking chapter on it in my book Rebooted because I'm ride or die for David. He's a nice fucking dude. Veterans look out for each other. Creatives look out for each other. That's a cool fucking guy.